capacity of the members, of all those stakeholders involved in the game in the past 1 year, and these are some of the evidential pictures. We, on 30th September, through coordination, and this is some of the activities at their place of work in Mengo. Again, under governance and administration, I guess Third Vice President talked about this in terms of support from FA, and of course we attended that General Assembly as well as part of the process to maintain our focus on good governance and good administration. The highlights can be seen in your booklet. Yeah, and in one of the meetings around November, the Third Vice President met FA and UPL department heads on hooliganism and violence in the league, and we were all there. And at that point, I think we were trying to ensure that we fix the problem of hooliganism and violence so that it does not interfere with our good governance practices as well as sporting. And we thank you, Madam Vice President, for convening that meeting and supporting it with all the logistics that were needed. And we were able to pronounce ourselves on that particular vice. The details as to why we convened are detailed on that page as well. Yes, still under governance administration, we've been engaged in FUFA competition weekly meetings to focus the league, and I'm sure, apart from the issues that were raised last night, we will be able to move, as a team, ensuring that competitions remain on track, because without competitions, without discipline within the competitions, we have no game. Yeah, so that page, shows our evaluation matrix regarding those meetings. Still under governance administration, we also reviewed. We held a mid-season review meeting at the Secretariat offices, and were able to focus on the positives and negatives within the mid-season period. Worked on the fixture management, reviewed it, talked about and reviewed our league visibility and league promotion. And it was agreed that Star Times should start getting involved in fixture drawing to ensure sponsors get value for money and clubs also get improved TV visibility. Again, under governance and administration, 13th June this year, the EPL board and the finance team held a session with the external auditors who submitted the audited books of accounts and management report for the financial year 2022 at Katikati Restaurant. Those are auditors, and they are attending this meeting, and you'll hear from them. Again, yes, the board also severally has been meeting staff to review their work, their activities, and that's one of the meetings that was held on 13th June. UPL board and FUFA met club chairpersons on 21st June to review the season together and review or prepare the next season. The meeting, and representing FUFA were the Third Vice President here, the Deputy CEO, Judge of Football, Mr. Douglas Kiza, and 11 out of the 16 clubs were represented, among which were the newly promoted Chitara FC, NEC FC, as well as Bara City FC. The board is continuing to meet the Secretariat. I think this was probably the last meeting on 29th of August to discuss the season again, to discuss the operational budget, and the meeting was chaired by myself. Under governance administration, we tackled compliance issues, and to ensure that the league, was run on the guided rules and regulations, and one of the main responsibilities of the Secretariat throughout the year was to ensure that the clubs comply to these rules, observe infringements of the league rules especially. They also tried to bring to the attention of the relevant FIFA judicial bodies some of the issues that really in terms of adherence to some of these rules, and some of the remedies that were taken. You can see them in those pictures, and especially some that went up to the competition disciplinary panel, and where some rulings were sanctioned on several clubs, and several clubs and individuals were sanctioned to be able to maintain discipline. Some of these decisions, of course, sometimes do not come easily, or are not entertained or received comfortably, but it's all to ensure the overall discipline and protection of the league. Yes, compliance also went to the statutory areas like URA and National Social Security Fund, and our staff secretariat there are seen interacting with the officials from the URA, where we have maintained some significant discipline in terms of adhering to our statutory obligations. Same story here. I think we are receiving some kind of B2B training and engagement with staff from National Social Security Fund, and we have the relationship manager, Mr. Judy Chiza, there interacting with our staff at the Secretariat. Now, the second area of focus was sporting, and FUFA, UPL sometimes announced FUFA TV as a second broadcasting TV for UPL matches. As you can see, the partnership there being announced and concretized, and the board was represented by our Honorable Vice Chairman as well as the CEO. The idea was, of course, to once you increase visibility on TV, then you are improving the sporting as well. Yeah, and during the meeting, these two gentlemen, FUFA Vice President and also sometimes Vice President Alvin Subuga Senior, made particular comments that emphasized the relationship and the idea of producing more games on TV to improve our sporting. That shows the fixture of last season and how it went. Again, on sporting, we were able to work with sponsors, particularly UBL and the Pilsner brand, to motivate our players and our coaches throughout the period. And in line with the season theme to run a professional and enterprising league with sporting excellence, the UPL Secretariat and Pilsner held the first Pilsner Player and Coach of the Month awards for that season on November 9th at Katikati Restaurant, and also present was our CEO here, board member Humphrey Mandu, and the winners walked away with an accolade and 1 million shillings each. And this, of course, continued throughout the season. Again, with the aim of improving our sporting excellence. Yes, of course, our sporting focus didn't come with without hitches, sorry. And you can see those ugly scenes which speak to that I made, we feel like we don't need these glitches, and investigations were held, and of course we know some of the reasons, probably an institutional, individual, and they touch all of us. If we want this game to proceed very well, we need to continue avoiding those ugly scenes, because sponsors will not want to be part of this kind of situation. Yes, this letter which shows a fixed adjustment around December, which was made at the request of FA in preparation for the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations. Yes, you normally know, I don't want to speak to this because you know why it happens and why we also had to readjust that fixture. On January this year, 16th, our CEO and the Secretariat, of course, held a mid-season review meeting with club CEOs, and present at this meeting was FUFA, DCO, in charge of football, Nicholas Chiza, and sometimes Vice President Olden Suga, and members discussed club licensing and player registration issues, among other things. This, of course, again, is in line with sporting. Again, in the sporting realm, you know, this is part of the seasonal data that shows you in terms of how many games were televised, attendance, in terms of night football, where it all happened, statistically, where it all happened in terms of attendance, gate collections, club sponsorships, among others. And yeah, it is all there in your booklet. Of course, in terms of sporting, we held CPL Season Awards on July 16, 2023, sponsored by our able sponsors, StarTimes and Uganda Breweries Limited. The event took place at Sheraton Kampala Hotel, where most of you are represented by your CEOs, but the event went on very well. The event was graced by a number of people, including the MD of Uganda Breweries, the MD and founder of Kazire Health Products, and many others. And this data is comprehensive, but shows the different variables as you see them comparatively, you know, over the previous like 4 seasons, and how we've improved in terms of matches, in terms of points docked or gained, in terms of TV games, in terms of night games, in terms of many overall goals scored, hat tricks. We've been able to get to this detail to generate data that can be useful even for commercial purposes. The pictures you see are people being awarded during that night, especially here you could see Dr. Patrick Oguel. Oh, I forgot my glasses behind, I can't read that. But yeah, he was awarding the player of the season who was coming from Vipers FC. Here, during that season, during that the awards, we were able to recognize our legend. Those of you, I'm sure you know, Andrew Fimbo was recognized as by the board as a legend, football legend, and he was very happy, as you can see. Again, this is to improve our sporting and also connect with our legends for the future of the game. This additional data, of course, shows the stable standings at the time of those awards. This is all known to you, and of course, we continue to congratulate Vipers FC. Yeah, this data talks about club player distribution, and it all explains in terms of number of players, in terms of number of players that were fielded for these games, foreign players that were fielded. All this is there for you to see. In one of those pictures down there, you see the MD of Uganda Breweries. In his speech, actually, he promised more support, which we are quietly discussing with Uganda Breweries Limited. This additional data shows the top scorers in the last league, Alan Kaiwa, Express FC, until you go down up to Beacons Oquil Black Spur FC, who played 21 games and scored 6 goals in total. The top scorer with 13 goals. This data shows top players with the most assists during the game, players with that scored hat tricks. All this is good data, especially if you want to brand your individual players, turn them into tangible products that can be supported. Of course, this data shows people with that were mostly featured as men of the match, that took much of the awards. They are there, and you can see evidence in terms of pictures. And here, this data shows the Pilsner coach and player monthly winners that won throughout from October up to May this year. They're all there, especially these are your coaches. This additional data, of course, again speaks to the category of the awards during that dinner and the fanfare that accompanied it. This data speaks to, wow, clubs with most disciplined players. This also helps you to see how do you rate yourselves. This is good data for you, and it can be, for interpretation purposes, can be obtained from the secretariat. Those who got most red cards, those that were booked, and those that were never booked, all these details are there for you to commercialize or to use to improve your sporting excellence. Yeah, and this is data about referees. I think this is about the officiation, those that did more games or matches. This also speaks to how we distribute our officiation. It also speaks to some of the issues you raise about how these games are officiated. Why do some get more assignments than others? These are things to keep discussing for the next season. This data now speaks to match attendance. Of course, this just averages. I think Vipers remains with the highest average attendance at about top. I think at one point they topped at about 15,000, but on average they had about 800 fans in the stadium, and that's how it's distributed. The middle column is about average. That's what we think or what we're able to obtain. But as you can see, most attended matches, one was the one that took place on 5th May 2023 between Vipers and KCCFC. We had averaged at about 15,000 attendance. The other was Ondupala Kandaroa Hill Sports Club, KCCFC and Vipers, again, Sports Club Villa and URFC. Those are some of the average physical attendances. This data speaks to the TV live matches, and in terms of how many that were able to not only to showcase, but the kind of viewership. And we had said current sometimes viewership is stands at about 7 million eyeballs, and this shows how our games were watched in terms of numbers, both on StarTimes and then FUFA TV. I think FUFA TV was able to showcase in the first round about 52% of the games that were given, and also Sanyuka, which is of course StarTimes, for 8%. You'll be able to interpret this. Again, in terms of sporting, still we are looking at shirt sponsors. Those that got probably shirt sponsors. Congratulations to KCC there. I see Plascon and many others that were able to get such sponsors. We see Vipers with Hima Cement, we see KCC with Chint, Sports Capital with EcoFarm, Arroya Hill FC with Plascon, URFC with URA, Maroons FC with Virgin Gold, Bull FC with Fortune Buto, Waxo Giants with the Ibex, I don't know how to read that. Solitary Bright Stars with Seinan, Express FC with Bet Shua. We still want to hear from the others, Soga United and others, UPDF. Maybe UPDF you need to. Who can sponsor you? Yeah, but you have very many supporters since you've given a lot of peace. I'm giving a tip. These factories should give you support because if you don't give them peace, they cannot manufacture. So you should be having actually more sponsors than all of us here. If you showcase the peace dividend, the peace dividend is a good idea, is a good teaching. Is a good sales proposition for you to capture people who have actually prospered because of the peace that you guys have been giving to us. In terms of revenue, we don't have, this is in terms of millions that you people collected. This is just an assumption because of some issues which I don't want to say here. And why? Because we could not get proper data, and we understand why some of you could not deliver certain data. But this is to just give the principle of how you collected your money. Vipers about 210 million on gate collections and made 40 million in merchandise alone. The other column is, of course, how the money you collected in terms of the brokers are naming rights that we sold to StarTimes. But now this is what we are able to pick. It may not represent the accurate position, but there's something to talk about and also to speak to and improve. But you could see, why does Vipers probably collect more money? Because of one thing, infrastructure. It just applies. Look at KCCA infrastructure, Arua Hills FC infrastructure. I don't know why Maroons, but of course, Wakiso didn't tell us. But of course, it all comes down to the infrastructure where you're able to control your debt your collections very well. We need now to speak to people in the digital world, see how do we now begin to collect from the digital spaces, from the digital audiences. How do we collect this money? Of course, in terms of sporting, towards the season, Enda there, we paraded the trophy around town to be able to garner support. And because, of course, the thrill that came with the three main contenders, to be able to drive fans to the stadium, to drive interest. So we marched around town with the trophy. There, myself and the president arriving with the trophy at Vipers at St. Mary's Stadium via helicopter. There was a rumor that him and I was supposed to land somewhere where Vera was. That's not for the press. It's in-house, but then Vice chairman was consoling me and others, but maybe Vera, please, at least let's do something. But I will not use my position to make sure you take the profit. And others, of course. That shows you the highlight at the St. Mary's Stadium. And these are good pictures, really, that really show that we've moved in terms of picture resolution, in terms of kajanja around the game. These are good things to sell. My daughters who are there, please. We are now clean people. We are now clean people. And you see, when you see me put on a necktie, you know things have moved on. And you know the champions there, our Villa people crying. You know, even KCCA. But you see, this is the point. I mean, this is what we want. We want to see more of this. We want to see more fanfare and emotions, kajanja, ruari, kawo. We want to see these things. Of course, under sporting, we also try to emphasize safety and security, and our staff underwent lots of training in this and trained more on safety and security. We have more safety and security officers and stewards in the game. This is good for the game. Instead of using my friends to be able with guns to secure our games, we now have people who don't need guns to secure our games, and many things that really, these are the highlights that came out of those trainings. Yeah, and this is evidence of some of the trainings that were taking place in different spaces around the town, around the city. Again, these are some of the stewards, as you can see. I'm sure you've interacted with most of them at your games. Make use of them. Try, we know football is an emotional engagement, but we want to try as much as possible to project a good image for potential partners and sponsors. Now, under finance, I'd like to not delve much on this because there's going to be a particular presentation on this, but we have good. I don't want us to score ourselves on this, but we'll try our best to have proper books of account throughout the season. And there will be a time when these accounts will be presented. Yeah, and these are some of the meetings to review within the finance department. We continue to thank one of our best signings, Mile. She'll be here to present her books, her accounts. She's a chartered accountant, and that shows that we've moved into that realm of corporate companies. Just some of the review meetings taking place at the Secretariat. Yes, of course, under finance, you are aware we have a circle which we are growing. Slowly, we encourage you to make contributions, and I think at some point, Mile will also say something about how far we've gone, and also Vice President, whose docket really also foresees this. I happen to be the chairman of this circle, and at the same time, an overseer, and we're trying to see how do we grow savings to be able to sustain even those of us who might be out of the game but still love football. How do we keep together? We felt that we should use this circle to keep us together, even our footballers, our legends, to avoid certain situations that you see that come with people who have to find a life outside football. But with a circle of this nature, they can always find a way to come through. And this circle is important at this stage, especially now that we're entering into an election season. We would want to pledge support the next administration, that we will use our contacts to see how best to attract political funding to this circle in exchange for those that want to continue with their endless. Yeah, I don't want to add on that. Now, marketing. Yeah, marketing. On November 15th, our team that we have refined made several visits around town. They've been making visits to different places, and of course, responses have not been forthcoming. And in my address, I have said that we've done our best to try to fix this, and we sure in the coming season we are better aligned, we have better contacts, and we have better sales propositions. We hope that this will be able to help us, one, fix the brand, continue fixing the brand and increasing its brand equity and value, but also attracting partnerships. And we know that when partnerships also come at the club level, the UPL wins. If partnerships come at the secretariat level, still the UPL wins. But we would want to see more partnerships coming at the club level. Clubs should be stronger than the secretariat, not the other way around. And to get there, we're going to emphasize more of commercialization going forward to ensure that we are all aligned, especially our marketing department should be aligned with your commercial managers at the different clubs, so that we speak the same language, we help each other, train each other, and uplift each other, and sell these products. These are some of the areas that we tackled. We worked on branding, we worked on merchandising, we worked on partnerships, like I've said, fan segmentation, sponsorships, our properties to be able to keep attracting sponsors. The department reviewed our marketing strategy, like I've said, and we've already come up with a solution. We've created a new branding manual. We contacted certain sponsors in the names of Kazira Health Products, Jib Water, Metus Otong Bus Industries. These ones actually are interested in contacting you to see if they can give you transport support at affordable prices. They're interested in coming to the league. Jib Water, Kazira Health, of course, Techno Uganda, Uganda Bati, MTN Uganda. Sorry, MTN, you are here, but we're also speaking with Airtel. All these are at different stages of negotiation. Not that for you, you've come and they have not come, so thank you. And many others, as you can see below, where we went on which date and the review. These are some of the places that we were able to do. About how many? About 33 or 39 places that have been visited. In terms of communications, I think I'm coming towards the end. Yes, the UPL official website remained the center of all communications, right from the secretariat and of course about the league. We have improved in terms of UPL news, in terms of club news, in terms of press releases, in terms of press reports, in terms of interviews, in terms of previews, and other media categories, in terms of and communicating statistics, communicating results, communicating fixtures and tables. We've really tried to excel in that area to improve communication. The official website now attracts over 30,000 hits per month, right from 20,000 hits at the end of the other season. These are numbers, again, in terms of commercialization. We continue to create more media content, write more interesting stories, and activate many other functions on the website in order to increase attention and visits and demand for our content, which eventually is replicated in other media platforms. In terms of social media, we were able to actually appoint a social media officer who has really improved our content engagement on social media, both Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We have now a new complete set of graphics that really come out very well. We've improved that, and the numbers are going up on all our social media engagements. Twitter, those of you, if you remember when we started some 8 years ago, I think we didn't even have a Twitter handle, I think. But now we have 59,000, and these are numbers for those who understand these things. The 59,000 in September last year, and these have improved up to the tune of 74,300 followers as of September 20th, and they're still growing. Instagram is growing. Now for the new marketing team members, these are some of the numbers to speak to. Facebook again, in 2022 had about 45,000 followers. They have grown to 51,000 followers, and by January, that was by November last year, I think. Yes, November last year, and by from January to date, they are at about 65,000 followers, and it's because of the efforts of this new social media officer who has changed the way we communicate in terms of graphics, video, clips, and stuff. We can always share graphics together, even from your own individual graphics, to be able to grow this website and take it miles. Yeah, those are some of our, that's the digital audit now to show our dashboard of Facebook and how it is engaged, or how people engage with it. There we go. This is now the data visualization in terms of reach for Facebook. Particularly for Facebook, you can see about 1.8 million, and the visualization shows we're moving. Page visits 372,000. They're also moving. I think we seem to have a problem on page, whatever it is. You can see it in your book. But we improve on that. Social media officer has pledged to improve on that. Now again, that's the data visualization again that shows again our engagement on Facebook. Yeah, current audience in terms of social media, again, Facebook itself, you see most of the audience is from Kampala. The listed audience on Facebook is coming from Masaka. I don't know why. I don't even see my Mbarara. Oh, it's there, number 2. Yeah. Now it means that in terms of commercialization, then if you have to target people who want to probably advertise on a Facebook page, we can only target people who are in Kampala or businesses that are in Kampala with this data. This is Facebook again. That's the data visualization again that shows how we are growing and how we are engaging in terms of weekly, monthly, and annually. YouTube, we have a YouTube channel as well. And in terms of now traditional media, we did lots of league media visits to different media platforms, as you can see in these pictures. And we try as much as possible to encourage our staff to be more visible than the board, so that then they are able to engage with the market. These are some of the media visits, as you can see. Thank you. This is the ender, and this is how we were standing in terms of ownership. And as probably yesterday, And I thank you very much. My name is Alito Regendo, Chairman, FSL Limited. He says I should add General Bishop as well. You should clap for me. Thank you very much. This is how we went. Basically, basic highlights. There's a lot that has been done. I have already, in my address, spoken to challenges that we have that may not have been fully captured in the activity report. But all this is prepared for the next administration to look into and to work on. Now, at this juncture, I would like to open a discussion, a brief discussion about what we've been able to do, what we think we left out, what we need to do, because we're in this together. Thank you very much. May I invite my assistants to walk around with the microphone. I thank you very much. See a hand somewhere. Where? Yes. This photographer couldn't allow me to see you. I would have mentioned your name, sir.
My name is Ronnie Mutevi from Solitude of Bright Stars. I want to thank you for the comprehensive activity report and all the achievements for the last year and the years before. I've been away from these meetings for some time. I'm a disruptive thinker, and that's why sometimes I come off as there's a word that is normally used that I've forgotten. But these disruptive thinkers by nature, they help systems to evolve, to innovate. I have thanked you already for the activities, for the achievements. But I read a lot about Japanese, and I know that, Mr. Chairman, you also do. The Japanese believe in Kaizen, small continuous improvement. And I want to suggest that out of the good things that we have done, we continue looking at how better we can deliver. Congratulations for the data that is in the report. I see a lot of data, and for people in the room who know the power of data, it helps a lot to improve, to inform decisions. I want to suggest that the data that is in the reports, we invest in using it, so that it moves away from just capturing statistics to inform decisions. And my view is that at the Secretariat, I know that I think we have statisticians, we invest in people who have knowledge in data analytics. The easiest thing is for clubs to get people to do that, but if we do it centrally, and I agree from here that let's devote a budget or train someone to do that, we come back here and we shall all drink from the same pot, and we go back and devote resources to those areas that will have been softened for us. For example, if we interrogate data around players who go for professionals and they fail and come back, which clubs do they come from? How do they feed? What is their discipline record? Then if that information can be compressed at a central point, then it helps other people to know how to plan at individual level. The other thing is, the players who emerge to the youth brackets as very, very competitive, as very promising, and they collapse all of a sudden. What is that information? What happens? before and what happens after. You have shown us clubs which have sponsors. What are their behaviors? So all this information, if there is a central place where that information is mined and broken down into information we can consume, then we go back and use it very well. So I would like us to think through that by the next board so that we benefit. I also like us to appreciate, I see in this report there were many meetings with stakeholders, meetings of finance. I would like us to convert those meetings into value so that, and I would like to address this to the theme of the year, which said professional. We wanted to be a professional enterprising league of excellence. And I want to say that if that is our theme, then it is from that theme we derive measurable targets for the CEO. Those would be the ones we report about in the AGM. To say we set out to achieve, under professional, we set out to achieve the following. There could be 3 parameters, and that is the target for the CEO. So in this activity report, we are informed this is what we set out, this is what we achieved. Why did we fail? Maybe resources, maybe we don't have staff, maybe we do not have the legal framework. If we identify the things that have disabled us from achieving, then that is where we invest money and say, the next budget, let's reduce what clubs take home and invest in that area that has incapacitated our company to grow. Then when we go back, it becomes, even for reporting, when we come here, you will spend less time to present. You will have a focused performance driver for the CEO and his team, and you will have better performance for everyone. Because remember, friends, this is a company like any other. Although many times when we are discussing football, then we run away from the realities. And that is a big problem. So if it is a company where we are all shareholders, we should be able to task each other on performance. I want to stop there and give other people a chance to do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bright Stars, for the excellent value addition. Anyone? My sister, you're a disruptor. You don't know why you're quiet. Okay. Yeah. Let's hear from Boone.
Thank you. I've looked through this report, and I believe the whole period you had a very rosy activity. But I wish also to see what are the things that you wanted to achieve that you did not achieve in this period. So the activity report shows all the good you did, and I believe in science there is no ideal situation. So those all need to understand what exactly that you wanted to achieve and did not arrive to it, and what are the solutions or the action plan that you have in mind for achieving whatever you wanted to achieve. Thank you.
Officer?
Thank you, my colleague from Wool and Solitilo, Bright Stars. My name is Hassan Lule. Just to expound a little on what they've said before, the point of what we didn't achieve last season actually expounds on what Ronnie submitted earlier about our measurable targets for 2021 2024. With this, I would wish to also highlight that in our meetings we have throughout the season, usually we start katikati. Could this be the reason for our meetings to review our progress with the measurable targets for 2023-2024, expound and deliberate on how to achieve our targets? It makes more sense that way. I submit.
Yeah, yes, we have, you're coming on? Yes, Soka United. Then we respond to those and then move to another item.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and I would like to congratulate you and your team upon once again successfully coming to the end of yet another sporting season and year. You highlighted the achievements and they are quite commendable. I would like to thank you. Of course, there are a few other things that you have not mentioned to me, which really matter and help us a great deal. And one of such things, well, this could sound a bit personal, but I would like to thank the third VP, who is our representative as clubs on the ExCom, for thinking it very wisely so to give us a Christmas hamper. I know we all got it, but nobody has appreciated it. It is such small things that really, it's the glue that keeps us together. And we want to say, like Oliver Twist, that we would like some more. I would like to thank the board also, their wisdom. They thought it very, very convenient to transport us, the club chairpersons, to the last General Assembly of the FA that happened in Gulu. We don't take it for granted because it was out of your personal effort. Once again, we want to say, Temujangoku, keep doing it. Some of our expectations that we feel have not been very, very well met are the usual things that we talk about in these kinds of meetings. And I'm looking forward to a time when we shall come here only to celebrate achievements. And it is very possible. I think Wakiso Giants has hinted on it, that could those meetings be made for those reviews, so that we don't wait up to the General Assembly. We could meet more often and more regularly. The English have a saying that a stitch in time saves 9. So maybe we should bond more by having more meetings so that we iron out some of the shortcomings. A case in point is when we are looking at the pictures of the previous year and season, the violence at our football. And Busoga United happens to have been a victim at Kachindu. And I'm wondering, you know, when you are a victim, when you misbehave, in my language, my local vernacular, there is a saying which literally interpreted says, when children misbehave or when they are at fault, you punish all of them. You don't punish one at the expense of the other. I am looking at the culprit, the cause of the indiscipline that rocked the football world in the Uganda Premier League here. The referee in point. And to me, it is more like he was rewarded because he emerged the victor as Busoga United suffered, and suffered a lot. We are struggling, we have lost points, we have lost goals, we have lost a game, we have, hey, how about the cause? Is it a one-man show? It takes two to tango. What sparked off that indiscipline was referee Chimbowa. And let me state it clearly, and I want to be quoted, I don't care. That if Chimbowa is brought back to officiate a match in which Busoga United that I am a president too is playing, I will refuse and I can boycott even the game. I want to see justice being done. When they are sanctioning clubs and sanctioning other officials, why is there selective sanctioning? Especially with the referees who have kept misbehaving with impunity and nothing is done, and I'm saying it without fear or favor. I know the repercussions because people are going to tell them, but you tell them I'm also ready for them. If they think they are going to take me on, I'll take them on. And we want to say that you are eyes and ears, you are our parents. We have no one to run to. You don't expect me to run directly to the FA. I want to do it through you. And even when I don't, how have you come through for me as your member? When do you offer support to such clubs? Time and again, I've talked about support to the clubs. And I have always said that there should be affirmative action for struggling clubs. I don't mind saying that my club is a struggling club. In fact, I'm very proud to say that. Last night, one of us here said, it was you, Chairman, I think, that winners don't quit and quitters don't win. And that's what has kept soccer in the league. For us, we struggle and we struggle on, we don't quit and we are going nowhere. In 2026, I'll be here with you to celebrate Usoga United's 10 years of existence in the Uganda Premier League. No mean achievement, through struggling. Where is affirmative action for such a club? I've always asked, and we've always been promised, and I do remember when you talk about bringing more money into the league, we even said we are going out to look for some sponsors to support our clubs in the Uganda Premier League. I would have been very happy if that was reported here. We were able to support Usoga United. We actually connected. I want to thank the third VP. She tried to get me a sponsor. It didn't come through, but your efforts are appreciated. I would wish to see many more of such efforts so that when we come here, we know we have a practical experience. Not these figures, some of us even fear figures. Mr. Mutevironi of Bright Stars put it very clearly. To cut the whole story short, let's have it summarized. We managed to do this for Usoga United or for the whole league, and we thank our sponsors who came, and we want to see you lobbying for us. And me, I think you have done so, but not very, very well. We'd like you to improve. Actually, last night when we were here, and I want to say this idea because I know it has not been said, it was not captured, but let me say it. That today we are going to elect our new board. We may give the current board another Kisanja. But I did mention, and I want to emphasize, that we shall give it to you on condition that we agree on performance agreements, that we are going to do A, B, C, and every month, or maybe periodically it could be every 3 months, let's meet at Katikati or wherever, how I wish we had an office as Uganda Premier League where we would hold our meetings to carry more weight so that we don't go to Katikati. And then we review our performance, so that we are not waiting for this General Assembly. We come to the General Assembly to celebrate our existence for yet another year. We don't come here to point out weaknesses and failures. We shall have sorted them out, and I want to thank you, Chairman, that you gave us an opportunity to sit here last night for a pre-General Assembly meeting. We achieved a great deal. So these are the good practices that we should really put in place and keep improving on them. We talk about communication and our relationship, and I want to emphasize, and I will never get tired of emphasizing, that in most cases, you get a feeling that the relationship between us in the clubs, and especially the FA up there in Mengo, the FUFA, Kabwana Ango, it's like one is always out to finish the other. We want to kill these people. Let's look for faults. looking out to a time when they will, the FA will call us to appreciate us for doing very well. Thank you very much, Usoga. You have always struggled and you have always pulled through. Not Usoga, you qualified sportingly on the pitch. We are now relegating you because you have no office. Ladies and gentlemen, is football played in an office? We are enforcing the rules as if we are robots. In modern management, what is an office? An office is an officer. If there's someone doing the work, the office exists. It is not a building. So if you sanction me, I know it's a requirement, but is it essential? With all humility, is it essential? Can't I play football if I've already qualified on the pitch when I don't have a building or an office, but I have an officer to do the work for football? And then when it happens, then I am going to complain. I meet Paul, who is supposed to be my spokesperson, and he hides his face from me. I want, when I am going to FUFA, to find smiling faces, a support mechanism, people waiting to say, let us help you, a calamity has befallen. And anyway, why do you wait until you have written such an embarrassing document that you are relegating Usoga United and Arua Hill? Arua Hill is not here. You should join me in this fight. Why can't you first call us? What does it cost members to pick a phone and call Usoga? We are about to do the unmentionable. You, what are you waiting for? Then you will become post-mortem surgeons, and you're right. The submissions came when we had already made a decision. Please, the relationship between us and Mengo must improve, and it has to be pioneered by you. That is why we have put you there. Tell Mengo that this impunity of us going there and being shouted at and being looked at as people who don't matter because we are not in that. We matter. Without us, there will not be football in Uganda. Football is not in the clubs. We are the promoters. We are the ones doing football. And instead of supporting us, you are tearing us down, you are sanctioning us, you are fining us. I don't think there is a club that has been fined more than Usoga United. Usoga United has no money. Instead of getting money and giving it to Usoga United, you are pulling out even the little that sometimes is giving. Are we building football? And when we come here, let's not look at the many times we have appeared in meetings. Those meetings are good, but what have we achieved there? I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have one more hand, then we try to conclude. I understand it's lunchtime, but it's exhausted. That's Stara.
Thank you very much, Chair and the members. I want to apologize for coming in late as well, but I had called the CEO and informed him that I will be coming late. I was in Masindi beating our defenders, our peacekeepers. We won that game. I was a bit perplexed by page 52 when you are presenting it. Page 52. Chair, page 52. When you are talking about the figures and gate collections that came from various clubs, you said you are not talking a lot about that, but I think that most of the clubs are loss-making. What you feared to talk about, I think, cannot affect clubs. I know there are issues of URA, but clubs are loss-making. I believe that maybe 1 or 2 clubs may be making money now. So declaring the amounts collected does not have a very big effect on the club. For example, yesterday we collected 17.6 million from gate collections. We have already declared it, it is on social media. Uganda Revenue Authority cannot come for me because the club is making losses. I just have to file and be able to have that money utilized in the activities of the club. So I don't think Viper has collected only 210 million shillings, which is captured here. The 15,000 funds, the highest is already above that. It's already over 226 million shillings. Me alone, Chitara, we collected 250 million shillings in the big league as a whole total when we were in the ramshackle playfield. If you look at Vipers, a well-built infrastructure, I think on average it collects over 200 million per game. And I think I have no problem if Vipers can declare that. And if a club has started making money, you are supposed to be compliant. That's why we are here. You are going to flag figures here. I want to thank you for already sending us money, 22 million shillings. The club already received it. I think I already posted on social media that we have already received these 22 million shillings. I think having these figures declared is also good for transparency. And the taxman cannot come for you if you are a loss-making person. I know Busoga says he's struggling, but that is part of football. You know, these community clubs are difficult to manage in terms of funding, but I think if you pull the funds together, Busoga has talent and has very many funds. I think, of course, this is my first time to attend these meetings. I think my sister should be able to mobilize the funds, should be able to collect 15 million per game. And if you have 15 games, you have over 300 million shillings. If you top on with the 100 million for start times, you have over 400 something. And you'll be able to run a bit really properly. For Chitara right now, I think we believe we shall be able to stabilize in the league and be able to move ahead and remain in the league because we're already putting up our pitch, which is not very expensive. We bought that land at 15 million shillings. That is very small money. Even the quarterly release you give us can buy land. We've already started the playing surface, which is over 150 million shillings so far. It's not a lot of money. So I think going forward, we shall be able to stabilize. And I believe this time round, Chitara will not struggle. You have already seen my brother here was asking me why we beat them. But I told him that is the league. So we are here to stay. I remember my sister warned me the other meeting at Katikati, but now you are seeing the results. But I'm not saying that we know the games, but as new entrants, you have seen Nate is also performing well. But as new entrants, we believe that we shall be competitive in this league, and then for us, we shall continue being transparent. I think the board, the members who are coming in, it's my first time, but transparency is okay. The taxman will not come for us when we are making losses. If we make money, we shall pay. Shall be able to file and then pay URA. I want to thank the board, I think, and the FUFA, that URA is not coming in to disturb us in terms of taxes because they know that we are not really making money, clubs are still struggling. But I believe a club like Chitara in 3 or 4 years should be able to make some money. And we can be able to give URA if we have paid out all expenses. I wanted to address one particular issue, the issue of price of players in Uganda. During the purchase of these players, we don't have clear figures. I've been told my friends in some clubs, top clubs, are buying players at a cheaper rate, and they have them and they play well. But I don't know whether, as stakeholders, we need to think whether we should start probably putting in public these figures we are buying players. I think I saw information from Vipers, which is not reliable. It's not captured officially. How much they had paid to Alan Okello, which I believe was good. The 113 million was good for 3 years. That 30 million per year is reasonable. But if we have that data coming out, in Europe, that data comes out. You say Villa has bought someone at 10 million 3 years. Chitara has bought this and this. It helps to set the standards and the cost of the players in the market. Because now any player can come and ask for any money, then you pay a lot. But as new entrants, and me as a new person, as a chairman of the club, we are trying to analyze to see how we can keep marketing this issue of having players' money released. And the players reasonably know that if I'm going to Vipers, I'm likely to get this average money. If I'm going to Busoga, I'm likely to be paid this amount of money. It also helps to market the league. But I want to thank you very much that I will have come. And this time around, we shall not go back to the big league.
Thank you very much for the positive contribution, and particularly on the importance of transparency and how it ties into enterprising our clubs. Members, of course, I think it's lunchtime, from what I'm being told. However, I want to take note of the value addition from my brother, Mr. Mutebi. I think you really broken it down to the understanding of the importance of data and how the game has now moved on. This is where the game is. You couldn't explain it better. I had to take notes like I was in a lecture. And particularly I was excited about the behavioral data, how it helps clubs to understand why Club X, like Chitara, why did you collect 250 million and why did Usoga United probably collect less. This comes with this kind of data and of course player profiles. Yes. These meetings, again Bright Stars talked about meetings, changing the character of the meetings we've been holding to kind of review meetings that focus on measurable targets. Yes, and we agree to this, and I think the next administration should take note of this, will pass on the notes and ensure that during the transition this is clear, because we also would want to have a legacy that is clear. Thank you so much. And then you were talking about again identifying the things that have impeded us, and I think that's important. I want to apologize that the report did not come out very well on that, and I noticed it and was able to kind of make mention of it during the address, but we are going to put them together and ensure that that should be the starting point at the next season. From Bull, yes, what are things that we did not achieve? Yes, I mentioned them during the address. Yes, we want more sponsors, we want money, we did not get enough money into the league, and we feel disappointed on that. And what action plan do we have? Yes, Mr. Mutebe has already set the stage for us to roll on it, but importantly, I mentioned in the address about how we have revamped the marketing department, and very soon the media will mention this action plan. From Wakiso, how do we better use these meetings? Yes, same as Sorotiro. Yes, I think I agree that the meetings should not only handle complaints against FUFA, against who, against what, but how do we turn the meetings into commercial meetings, into value addition meetings. Let's hear how is UPDF moving. I was just giving UPDF a tip today that you can use the BC dividend to get so many people on board. The people respect UPDF like nothing. Why? Because of the piece that they have provided, which is helping them to make money. One way to look at it is check. Check around January 2026, during that NRM Day celebration, and also the Tare Sita celebration. You see the many people that support media houses with adverts. What are they supporting? It's the PC dividend, nothing else. And it's a lot of money, a lot of it. We need to sit and discuss. And because I come from the media, there's so much money that the media make, yet it doesn't have the kind of audience that football has. So where is the problem there? In one good day, on a good day, like say Independence Day, you check, and I'm actually challenging you, just next week, 2 weeks from now during Independence, open New Vision and Daily Monitor, and a bit of red paper, but particularly New Vision, you'll see, you'll find the New Vision is like this size. This is not because they just want, they have a lot of use for you to read. No, all that is money. And in one go like this, that's about 2 billion, to tell you the truth. I think even 2 billion, I'm just talking on the lower side. In one day like this, from all those adverts, what are they supporting? Begura 170 or are they Begura Uganda? What is it? There must be something that they are trying to support. How do we communicate that so that this 2 billion comes to us? That's why those meetings, my brother Ashraf is going. Those meetings are going to be very important. How do we, package our audiences the way New Vision, the way Daily Monitor, the way NBS TV, MTV are doing it? Yes, Busoga, Yes, last night we really went over these things that you've mentioned, and it's good you have brought them onto the open platform. Why selective sanctioning? I think this one I really want the Vice President to say something about it. And then of course, supporting clubs with those connections. I am very excited about the change of mode of those meetings, where we can now speak to this. This time actually, UPDF may not be aware. There's a time I almost brought you somebody, then somehow I think the person I think then went backwards because he was interested. He said, I want to support these people. But we are still talking. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. But why not? Because I'm interested in seeing clubs stronger than UPL. If a club like Arsenal can just support an entire country like Rwanda, why shouldn't Osoga United support the United States of America? Yes. Why? Because then, if clubs are happy, then we are all happy. But importantly, I think what you are trying to say, those of you with connections, good connections, this is what we're talking about. Let's use those connections together. Some of us have very good connections, but maybe we've not been able to use them very well. For me, I'm here. If you're going somewhere and you think I have a connection, please tell me, call me. I can help make the phone call. You never know what can come out. We are willing to do that. Lope for us, yes. Performance agreements. Oh, this is the first time by the way I'm working for somebody. I've never worked for anyone. So, yes, we are open. We shall tell the next administration to wait for those agreements, the performance agreements. I think the first review meeting we won't have together. Let's put them together. I think you've been writing them down. We are willing to ensure that the next administration is measured on these performance indicators. Stara, oh, I can't thank you enough. Yes, transparency leads to more business, more trust in the game, and more support, and more believability. That's what we want. So that people stop having the other original historical bad image. It is important that we get there, and I think clubs can pick from you. Because I think even before I saw you, I used to tell members that if clubs actually followed what Chitara is doing on their website, for me I was always following your website and I see the way you communicate and I was like, clubs should be like this. And I was surprised. At that time we were still in the big league. But I was not surprised that you are now in the Super League. Because I could see, just 2 years ago, I was like, this club should be watched. And I didn't know you. But I was only looking at your website and said, I can see something here that anybody should emulate. Thank you so much. We being told, oh yes, you're supposed to talk about something. Yes, selective.
So thank you so much, my sister, and thank you for all the people who have reacted to the activity report. Yes, my sister was concerned about the singling out. It's a terminology, she referred to it as singling out. And I think if it is done, it is something that I can comment on like this. That there's nothing as frustrating as knowing that some club, say Kitara, has burnt midnight candles to be ready and meet the deadline. And then probably there is one